Hello, Facebook Live. Lindsay Price here. As soon as I started this, there's a guy behind outside doing lots of noise, so we'll deal with that. But as we deal with everything, I'm here talking with Karen Loftus. Hello, Karen.
Hello.
So Karen is here with us at the Florida Association of Theater Educators Conference.
Yes.
She is a former high school drama teacher, which is how we met many years ago at this conference.
Yes, true.
So tell everybody what you do now.
I am an education program manager for Roundabout Theater Company, and I manage a technical theater training program.
And you have had so many hats. You've had drama teacher hat, you have had stage manager hat, production manager hat, this thing you're doing now with Roundabout, but it's all pretty much, a lot of it has stayed in the education realm.
Sure.
Right? Yeah? What is that about that really speaks to you, do you think?
I came into teaching indirectly, and kind of fell in love with it and just stayed. It just kind of stuck, and I guess I've just always enjoyed the outcome of it. Even in your, teaching is that profession that has a lot of high highs and a lot of low lows. So it's really been so meaningful that it's always kind of driven the need to stay connected to it. So, yeah.
And what has always been and Karen is also one of our very valuable Drama Teacher Academy instructors. And what is so great is, and I spent a lot of time in your classroom in Florida, which was when you started was a classroom, but then was a portable.
Yes, a learning cottage, as we like to say. We're not allowed to say trailer, so welcome to our learning cottage.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sure I knew that phrase.
Yes.
The learning cottage.
The learning cottage.
It was portable.
Yeah. It was better than come on into the double wide, kids, So
it was small.
Very small.
And so many kids you had in that class.
Yes.
And you taught tech in that class.
Yeah. I really wanted to start a stagecraft program to help, just to teach. My goal was to teach comprehensive theater. It's very important, obviously, to teach acting and directing and all of that. But I think educating the student as a whole is so important. So I advocated for a stagecraft class. And be careful what you wish for, because I was greeted with 36 bodies staring up at me, ready to go, and with no materials at all.
All right, let's identify this.
Yeah.
So not only was there's no shop.
No.
No tools.
Nope.
No stage.
Nope.
No lumber.
Nope.
No set pieces.
No, nothing.
So, Karen Loftus, how do you teach a stagecraft class without any of the commonly known implements of tech theater?
Well, what is it? Necessity is the mother of
invention.
invention.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was just how to keep every student engaged. And then the thought is, what do I have? What do I have? And I had a lot of, I had access to office supplies, and I had access to, everyday common objects and things like that. And by thinking through, taking the natural processes of stagecraft, how could you do them on a smaller scale with really cheap items?
Yeah.
So, we did that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so Karen is here, and she's teaching for us at the festival, or the conference. Only no kids, it's conference.
Yes.
And she's teaching a classroom tech workshop here in half an hour.
Yeah.
With the most amazing, I think, in applying this whole notion of necessity is the mother of invention, and also applying the tech elements. And it is a building stage flats lesson with
Paper and straws.
Okay, so and I really like this this lesson because it really it covers all of the same elements of building a flat, but uses no space.
Nope.
and no lumber,
Nope.
and everyday cheap materials.
It's true. It's true, and it's great because you can mimic the process. While the only element of it that's missing is really like a screw gun and screws. The idea of addressing the skills that you want them to know, like measurement, understanding the structure of the flat, how the flat is put together, and in my classroom we would go from building the flats to building the jacks out of straws, and we even kind of added a fun element to it where I had a little air cannon, and I used to shoot their flats and see if they would stay up. So we would take it even to that level, that they would understand the ideas of brace and support and how to, so bigger skill ideas done on that really
and I think
tiny level.
I think that's a really important note to bring up, that it's not silly. You're not using, it sounds like, it's straws and tape and measurements.
Yeah.
It's not serious. No, that you're expecting students to apply the skills and apply the foundation of building a set piece just as they would if they were using the real materials.
It's true. I mean, even if you were to then have if you transitioned from like a paper straw situation to a balsa wood or something lighter, and you're making a large scale model, you still want the students to utilize those same skills. Are they using the tools correctly and safely? Are they measuring correctly? Are they measuring twice and cutting once? And is the element that they're creating structurally sound? And you can even incorporate all of your ideas of shop safety in there too. Kind of be crazy. Put the scissors away from them, and they have to go up to use the scissors, and make them put glasses on or something. It's silly and it's fun, but it gets them into the habits and the behaviors that are important when you do move into a building situation.
Well, and I am sure, teenage boys.
Yeah.
I am sure that when they get into a shop situation, that it's all fun with the power tools,
right,
and that and that's where accidents happen. And if you're teaching them, I think that shop safety the whole idea of no, these scissors, you must think of these scissors as your power tools, right? You must think of this straws as your lumber, and if you're not going to respect these tools, you're never going to use those tools.
Sure. And even I would joke with the students, and if they cut their straw incorrectly, I would charge them for another straw. The idea that things cost money, and that we have to be really I jokingly charge them for a straw. I never got money for it, but
you have to do a song or something, a monologue.
No. But the idea that they understand. They get to make a mistake on a super, super, super low stakes level. Yeah. And then they have that in their head, don't do that again. Yeah. So that's what was really important, because they did eventually build a very smaller 2x2 flat. Yeah. But this was their introduction to it.
Well, and everybody says that's all we hear all the time is, I need tech lessons. I don't have any background in it. B, I don't have any space. There's no money, and there's no this, and it is totally possible to do tech in your classroom.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so, what are some other? So I think that this building stage flats lesson plan. You have to join the Dram Teacher Academy to get it, or you have to be in Florida to take this workshop right now.
There you go. Right.
But I think so. Using a small scale, using the materials you have on hand, shop safety.
Yes,
that's a good one.
Yes.
How would you do lights in a classroom tech sort of situation?
I think there's a couple of different approaches. I've always done lighting with flashlights. If you've ever gotten those great little swatch books from Lee or Roscoe, those are your gels, and you could even have the students create gobo holders that go in front of the flashlight as opposed to inserted. I've used clip lights to discuss. So clip lights are your running lights that you might have if you have them backstage, but you get them at Home Depot. They're just
they're just silly things that you can just click on a thing.
Yeah, and they have a little clip on the back, and you stick it in. You can also purchase dimmers. So you plug your clip light into a dimmer. The dimmer goes into the electrical outlet, and now you've got a clip light that can be dimmed. So all of a sudden you have all these inexpensive little lights running around. So that's one way. The flashlights are another. And the goal is to decide, as we all know, objectively, what are the skills you're trying to get across? Like what's the most important thing to be giving, because there's so much to teach about lighting. But what is it that you need from the students to know for your own productions or just in general? And it's very active too. You can sit and learn about lighting all you want and do various things, but the ability to get them on their feet with flashlights in hand, with gel books, making color decisions and things like that is really exciting.
Well, with flashlights, you can do a lot of things about like what happens when you light under a face, what happens when you light on the side, what happens when 8 people light everybody's front.
Yep.
Then that becomes, and then so instead of one person sitting at a lighting board,
yes,
and only one person getting to do the work, all of a sudden your whole entire class can do something. And you can even mimic a dimmer situation where from a role play perspective. So you have someone who is the board, and you have students that are dimmers and students who are circuits and students who are lights. And what's the communication?
Exactly, to understand that connection from lighting, from the board to the dimmer. We don't want to get into DMX yet because it's going to fry everybody's brain. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. But that idea of they learn the best, we all know they learn the best when it's kinesthetic, I think. And it's a great way to just physically demonstrate how a lighting system works.
So as we wrap up here, what would you say is one thing, like if you're talking to a teacher who has been told they have to do tech, and they don't have a place, and they don't know where to start, where would you start a classroom tech situation for someone without a grounding in it?
I think the thing I would start with, because I'm so into comprehensive theater, is a who's who in theater in general, but focusing specifically on who's who in the world of tech and how do the departments break down. So once they understand who's who does what, and how it all works together, then you start to go back and you kind of do your table of contents and then jump into your book.
Yeah, so you can identify here are all the roles, and then let's start with all of the roles in the lighting department. How do they communicate with each other? Who makes the decisions?
Exactly.
Okay, so you're going to be the lighting designer, you're going to be the lighting op, and you're going to be the
master electrician.
Yes, the master electrician. And who does what role?
Right.
And then now we're going to role. You can role play this.
Yeah.
Okay, now you've got flashlights.
Right.
So who's making here's your flashlight.
Yeah.
So what does the lighting designer do? What does the lighting op do? What does the electrician do?
Yep. Yeah.
Well, I think that's very exciting. I can do that. So we wanted to share a little bit about again what we're doing here, but also when you've got experts. And I messed that word. I'm experts.
I'll take your nation.
We want to share that. We want to share that information. And thank you so much for talking, Karen.
Sure. Thank you.
Bye, guys.